Hello everybody and welcome to Pathfinder, a Kingmaker. This is one of the filler episodes. We're just going to talk to Regangar, Octavia, Tristian a bit more about stuff. So enjoy. I'll try to make the voices as good as I can. It's a training for me as well. So I hope you enjoy. What do you want? Have a little chat? Alright. It's not like I have anything better to do. Tell me about your life in Numeria. You mean my life as a slave? I didn't see much except for the slave barracks and the League's twisted laboratories. How did you happen to become a slave? I was sold, I told you that, by my own tribe, when I was a little brat. The half-orc clenches his teeth, then spits on the ground and steps on it with his boot. So I grew up in a slave barracks. I was raised to be sold like a battle animal. They tried to break me, but they picked the wrong brat. No matter how much you beat this animal, he only gets angrier. The half-orc punches himself in the chest and snarls. Why did your masters teach you magic? Can't you guess? Because magic is in my blood. It's why they taught me. I wasn't raised as some lowly mob slave, but as a murder machine. I'd fetch quite a nice sum of gold. You might also ask if they knew I'd take the first opportunity to rip their own guts out, using everything they taught me. Of course they did. But that's the Technic League. They calculate risk. Octavia kept pretending to be simple-minded, so they wouldn't expect anything of her. But I made every effort, though they didn't teach me much. What is there to teach? It's not book magic, it's innate. They made me practice with my sword more, but I did my best. In everything. I studied all I could. They knew they were raising an enemy, but they thought they could keep me on a short leash, or sell me to someone with deep pockets, so I'd become someone else's problem. But who won in the end, huh? Who is free? We'll bury them all. The half-orc makes an obscene gesture in the northwestern direction towards Numeria. What else did you see beyond your life in chains? What could I have seen? Well, when we ran, we went through Starfall. That's a fine city. Big, loud, many merchants, things to see, things to steal. But I didn't have much chance to walk around. It's the very nest of the sodding Technic League. We were focused more on getting out alive. We met some barbarians. I asked them who might know what tribe I'm from, but they didn't know anything. I don't have any tribal tattoos, nothing. Actually, they are alright. Well, some of them. The Bloodgars, for one, they're great. All the rivers are theirs. We sailed with them during one of our escapes, almost all the way to Brevoy, and they didn't turn us in. But the White Scars got us after that. Those guys are shit. They've sold their pride to the Technic League. Oh, one more thing. One time Octavia and I tried to escape and stumbled across a Numerian monster. I'll never forget it. A huge spider the size of a house, made of metal, spitting fire, shooting deadly rays all around. That thing probably tear even a dragon to pieces. Ruined our plans too. We had to go back. Did you and Octavia try to escape? What do you think? Of course we tried. We stopped counting how many times. Jumped from windows, dug tunnels, choked out guards, or seduced them. That happens too. But those dirtbags caught us every time. Every bloody time. My back is covered with whip scars. Lucky we were prized property. They'd spent too much gold on us to kill us. Anyone else would be hung and forgotten. But they kept trying to break us and recoup their expenses. I don't know whether I could have survived my sheer stubbornness if it weren't for Octavia. Probably couldn't have. I would have just given up and died. But I had to pull my girl out of that meat grinder, and she believed in me. Had enough hope for both of us. When I lay there, my back slashed to pieces, she whispered to me about the river kingdoms, where there's no slavery, where everyone can go wherever they want and take whatever they want. I'll be damned, but I thought she was just making this up to keep our hopes alive. And now it turns out to be true. All of it, every last word. No chains, no slaves, no laws. Just live and be happy. Is slavery legal in Numeria? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are some laws against it, but even in Starfall, a third of people live in bondage. And that's the capital, and regions where the Black Sovereign's hand doesn't reach. They hold to tribal customs instead of laws. The barbarians don't keep slaves, instead they have thralls. Big bloody difference. And on top of all that mess, there's the technically law and custom mean nothing to those slime balls. They just take whatever and whoever they want. Thank you for your answers. Okay, start to Octavia. Will you tell me about your life in slavery? I don't like to recall it, but if you insist. Octavia frowns. The slavers from the Technic League tried to ruin my life, but all they could was ruin my childhood. How did you happen to find yourself in the Stolen Lands? My enslavers from the Technic League funded a large expedition into the Stolen Lands. 100 agents, tens of slaves, wagons. We were to search for some ancient artifacts or ancient ruins. Octavia shrugs. Our group never made it to Technic League hideout. Along the way, it was attacked by the future owner of the Stolen Lands himself, and I'll be forever grateful to him for it. Octavia winks cheerfully. No, don't be for... Oh, talk about me. You're talking about me, right? Did you have masters over the years? Yes, many of them. Some owned me for years. Others felt they'd had enough of me in a couple of months. Trust me, I did all I could to make every master eager to get rid of me. A slave that's trained in magic is a rather expensive thing, so they wouldn't kill me. At least that was the hope. So I drooled and played an idiot, and I listened as every new master argued with my former one, trying to return me. Sometimes I punctured the pages of magic books I was forced to copy with a quill. Other times I pretended to mix up the spells, so instead of lighting a magic torch, I set dozens of dancing lights floating just below the ceiling. Of course, most of these tricks of mine usually ended badly. I got punished on a regular basis. My pack still remembers the master's whips, though all my scars from those times are long gone. Where did you learn to use magic? Oh, I was taught magic by Janusz of Starfall, one of the most famous wizards in Numeria. Maestro Janusz, as he insisted on calling himself. Octavia's voice overflows with contemptuous sarcasm. Anyone would be happy to learn from such a great master, and only a talentless bitch like me would dare to reject his teachings and indulge in her laziness. At least that's what Maestro Janusz used to repeat constantly while whipping knowledge into my back. The great Maestro was a big fan of punishment. Octavia's lips pressed into a thin line. They technically didn't care if a few slaves died under the Master's whip, as long as Maestro Janusz provided an arcane-trained one in return. Officially, there is no slavery in Numeria, but it technically is above any law. A slave with an aptitude for the arcane is worth much more than a regular one. The slave's repertoire is limited to the simplest and safest spells, of course. Have you ever tried to run away? What a silly question. Of course I tried. As soon as we saw even the tiniest opportunity to get free, Reg and I grabbed for it. On one occasion, we jumped from a cart into the river. There was a time when we spent weeks trying to dismantle the far wall of the barracks and make a path out. Sometimes we attacked our guards when they least expected it. We craved freedom. We lived only to dream about it. Those short days, sometimes weeks, that we spent on the run were the happiest of days of my life. We used to hide in the woods or blend with a crowd on the streets of Starfall. Midnight stars were our guiding lights, and we shared our dream with them to reach the river kingdoms. For in these lands there were neither slaves nor masters. We were starving and freezing, but that was the real life. Too bad it usually ended too soon. The Technic League agents always found us in the end. I don't know how they managed to do it. They probably used magic, or maybe it was just our fate. They whipped us and returned us to our old masters and sold us to new ones, if the old ones refused to pay. So we were slaves again, but the dream about the River Kingdoms never left our hearts. Have your masters ever hurt you? You figured that out, didn't you? Octavia narrows her eyes. Or maybe you want to hear all about the beatings I survived, the humiliations I've endured. Imagine the worst thing one person can do to another, and multiply it tenfold. That's what happened to me nearly every day in slavery. Masters. Oh, how I hate that word. Octavia shakes her head furiously, making her locks dance. They punished me because they wanted to hurt me, but what hurt even more was the mere fact of their existence. Octavia stops you, gently touching your hand. Wait, I want to tell you, she sighs and shakes her head as if trying to collect her thoughts. The Technic agents you rescued us from, Reg and I tried to run away many times, but they always managed to find us eventually. I have no reason to hope that this time they've lost track of us for good. So, I can be lawful neutral, which is a neutral choice. While you're with us now, I'm confident that I should be able to make a deal with them. Yeah, chaotic good. Well, you're with us now. I'm confident that I should be able to make a deal with them. Chaotic good. I won't let those filthy slave traders to take you again. Just let them try. Yes, we'll chase them to the border. We won't see them through the dust. Okay. And that's for the talk with her. So, you know, Reg and Octavia are interesting characters, to be honest. They like Reg, the outlaw spellblade type character that really doesn't care about laws or anything, just about revenge and pleasure and fun and stuff like that. Much like Jordyn here. Jordyn also is a chaotic neutral character. Doesn't care much about some things. He cares about a few things though. He's not pure chaotic neutral. And that is Tristan that we haven't talked with. Tristan gives you a friendly nod. How may I help you, Jordyn? What can you tell me about Serenre? Serenre is the goddess of temperance and patience. Solar Flame goddess teaches us compassion for the needy and mercy to those who go astray. Well, I'm not that interested in talking about the god.
All according
Again,
to plan.
those just was boring enough. Let's see if speaking of boring enough. Yeah, so no new dialogue for Aaron. Does Lindsay have anything new now that we defeated? Yeah, no, nothing new, so I think I'll have to do with a subject from Tristan. Okay, what brought you to these lands? I've heard rumors. They say these lands are cursed, and the curses are growing stronger, as if something is granting them power. They could not ignore such rumors. What curses are you talking about? Tristan cocks his head to the side in wonder. Do you not see? Every word uttered in the heat of an argument turns into a prophecy here, just waiting to fulfill itself. And if it were only for the people, the land itself is seething with curses so ancient their origins are impossible to trace. Take the abandoned temple of Erastil, where we met. What happened to it? What force compelled the priest to leave such a magnificent temple behind to the whims of nature? Will we ever know? I myself was nearly slain by beasts. Fortunately, you came along, following Jod, and saved me. I owe you a great debt. You've come a great distance indeed. Tristan laughs heartily. When you look it that way, then yes. But please do not think that I came all the way from Kelesh because of mere curiosity. I was wandering long before that. It is a custom of our faith. The further our paths take us, the more people we may help. Why did Jod see you in his premonition? Serenre sees all the good gods and goddesses as her allies. Many have fought alongside the goddess against the menace of Robagog, Erastil among them. By offering my prayer to Serenre, I let her know of my misfortune in the Temple of the Elk. The merciful goddess did not ignore my plea, but whom could have she asked for aid than Erastil, whose faith is strong in these lands? Erastil has sent Jod a sign, and you came just in time to rescue me. Tristan sighs. To tell the truth, I was certain my journey was at an end. and those creatures were to be the death of me. You've spent much time here. What do you think the future holds for these lands? These are cruel lands. As I came here, I bore witness to much pain and suffering, but I have seen equal kindness among those seeking to protect themselves or their loved ones. The people of the stolen lands are resolute and true to themselves. I admire their strength. Alas, I do not know yet what powers the curses that flourish in this land. But I swear I will not leave until we have the answer and the means to cleanse them. You must forgive me for not swearing on Serendra's name, but as of late I have troubled the goddess too much as it is, and it would be better to save her through action, not prayer. Alright, so
As it should be.
with that, I think this episode is pretty much done.
How may I serve you?
In due time.
I need really to do for now.
I am prepared.
And in the next episode, we will tackle the mighty
That is
task
not far.
of taking out the Stag Lord. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell button for more content. And I'll see you guys next time.